What is going on? I'm ZMOT. We are going to play some main base stuff today. You have got to try these melon chucking dudes on your main base, in operations, in friendly challenges, whatever it might be. The best troop in Boom Beach, that is the Meloniers, the giant melons, the bouncing. Not only do they have the best innuendo possibilities, but they are also the best troop. If you don't believe me, do give them a shot. If people in your task force are still using regular bombardiers, please, please, please do give them crap. You don't want to be using those old-fashioned old men. They are not close to as good. I'm going to show you what they have done slightly differently as we get rid of the dentist that is Kevy Kavan. Also note that your tribes have changed. That is not a giant deal. I'm just figured I'd mention it because I am wasting smoke like a crazy person. So these dudes all of a sudden have started clearing mines. That is huge. Before you had to mix in like a boat. Watch that boom mine right there. It is gone. So these guys never cleared mines before, and they never did friendly fire before. And I don't think we've had a troop that does both of those things before. Grenadiers do friendly fire, they kill themselves, and they kill mines. These guys don't do friendly fire, and they do clear mines. You'll notice right there that green mine that was right there, dead center, right about there, is now gone. So they do both things. That makes them extra double plus good. Do give them a shot. They have ridiculous damage. All of that shrapnel doing extra damage. They are way better than regular bombardiers. But I feel like they didn't used to cost GBE to deploy. Am I crazy there? So changes, I think, is that... No, it doesn't even cost GBE. Sorry, I was looking at the number. We have 3 of them. It doesn't cost GBE, so a little bit of a brain fart. And trying to find, oftentimes when things are changed, like there's a new update out, people will say, like for example, on the Boom Beach server, they said, Bombardiers, Melon Bombardiers don't outrange boom cannons anymore. Have they been nerfed? No, they've never outranged boom cannons. I mean, they can outrange a boom cannon if you strategically place them so they chuck at the machine gun and their shrapnel hits the boom cannon, but they have never, ever, ever outranged the boom cannon. So it's one of those things where every time an update comes out, I feel for Nuno because the dude gets 8 bugs that are real bugs, and then 2 bugs that people insist that he is wrong, and they are definitely bugs. The game has changed. It's never been that way. I've played the game for 10 years, bro. And it turns out, oh, you were wrong. And it happens all the time. Like there was a thing on after an update that said, oh, the core hit on Outworks has changed. No, you just screwed up your flare. So tough job Mr. Nuno has. He's not the developer that screws these things up. So all the love for Mr. Nuno. I think he's taken some time off shortly here, so congrats to him on that. We are going to get these melon dudes, and I can't stress it enough. Use this troop just as often as you throw code ZMOT in that creator boost. Hugely helpful. Throwing code ZMOT in that shop, it's just as helpful as using Melon Bombardiers in your operation attacks. Now, if you're wondering... And by the way, this goes all the way down to low levels. Do use these guys. Low levels, you probably want to put them behind tanks. High levels, throw them behind some mechs. They are so ridiculously good. I am going to try to solo Dredge here. They've got the standard rocket launchers behind the core, some boom cannons there, some shock launchers there. They do like their personal space, though, so you have to be a little bit careful about where you place them. Otherwise, they'll all bunch up and you'll be unhappy with the results. So we are going to spread them out from this line. Let's do some drawing. By the way, in even better 4K today, hopefully we'll find out. You see that line right there? We're going to drop them from that line all the way over to, where can we drop them to? All the way over to that line right there. So we've got some clear delineation, is that the right word? We're going to do this unboosted undead and shouldn't need a heck of a lot. We're going to go 1, 2... oh, that's not the right troop. That is not what I meant to drop. Did not intend to drop any mechs yet, but we should still be okay. As that line gets a little bit blurred, let's drop our mech all the way over there. Kavan should bring back some of our dudes, and those mechs, we are going to flare over down into this bottom left-hand corner. We'll throw a shock on that, and then we're just going to wait for a second or two as Kavan brings out all sorts of goodness. And, I mean, even you'll see people soloing bases like Redline and Humble Pie and even Torrent with these guys. I have soloed almost every base in the game, and some of my more difficult solos came with these Meloniers, and that was before they cleared mines. So bases like Humble Pie, where you are just absolutely inundated with mines, these guys are going to be that much better all of a sudden. So do make sure you bring out the Meloniers, even just for those innuendos in themselves. I have to bite my tongue almost all the way off to not just constantly make bouncing melons, big melons, all of the innuendos. We just easily soloed Dredge. Yes, this is only dead end, but come on, that was just beyond simple. The other note is that troops like Grenadiers that do clear mines, you're gonna have a bad time if you get in the range of critter launchers. With these guys, they don't do friendly fire, so even if you've got a mech up there or you end up chucking close to yourselves, that's what I was trying to show you on this friendly challenge, by the way. Not sure if that was super duper clear. Trying to get them. Can we flare them? Yeah, we're gonna drop... let's just drop 3 of them. We'll get them underneath the smoke. We won't have to kill Kavan. We'll put them in this back corner. And if you watch their health bars, they will stay drastically alive. I'm not sure what drastically alive even means, to be completely honest. But the fact is, they are going to chuck right on top of themselves onto those buildings. And if we shock the sniper tower, we should be able to watch their health bars all stay super healthy. Melons dropping all over our troops, and if we throw a smoke on top, you'll see we still have 3 and 3 on top of their numbers. So very strong troop, and that just got even strong. Like, these guys, I would take them over heavy choppas. Personally, you guys might disagree, but for me, these are the #1 troop in the game, and the fact that they now clear mines just makes them that much better. Yes, we're gonna lose a couple, but that is not due to their shrapnel. We have lost 0 still, so Mackett, your base is cracked. We are gonna drop those critters there. They're not gonna spread because we are retreating. Managed to lose 2 giant important melons. So use these guys. They are so good. And I mentioned using them at a low level. We're going to do it at my headquarters level 16 just to show you that I am not making this stuff up. One thing that I wish they did a little bit differently is the troop ordering. You've got rifles in the top left all the way down, scrolling down beyond troops we haven't unlocked just to open these guys. I wish they would change the Meloniers to rank 0 instead of rank whatever the heck they are. That would be better, I believe. By the way, Boom Beach doing great as far as troop ranking, always in the same order. Would like to be able to rotate that a little bit, but anyways, we will keep going. We're going to spend that 110 diamonds. We have got some tanks out front, and as far as your hero goes, really doesn't matter. I would recommend either Kavan or Everspark. I'm going to go with Everspark simply because of the fact that she brings back free critters. So it doesn't bring back, she poops out free critters. Whereas Kavan is going to bring some rifles, which we don't really want. That healing could be useful, so maybe you want to mix in a boat of medics or something like that, but shouldn't be all that necessary. Now, this account has incredibly low victory points. I'm kind of surprised that we're running into people with critter launchers. That might have been before they rebalanced where critter launchers come out. Critter launchers will be a bit of a pain in the butt for our tanks potentially, but we're just gonna get rid of them before we get there. And you don't even really need tanks. I'm just trying to give you a different option in case you figure that you need some sort of meat shield out front. So not even sure you really need a meat shield, but a lot of people do enjoy having something out front of their melons, and I can understand that. Nonetheless, we're just going to keep throwing GBE towards the thing. Everspark pooping out critters all over the place, and because of these guys' shrapnel, you end up getting all sorts of free GBE left, right, and center, just like Laser Rangers, but with slightly more power. And these make for very, very easy map clears. I can't stress it enough, though. Don't just randomly clear your map as a low to mid-level player. Farm up those whales. Do then go get all of the resources so you can get a giant upgrade underway. As I complete like 40 different Boom Pass missions, probably should just do... Let's see if we can do all 7 stages of Dr. T. I kind of doubt it without either boosting. I haven't done all 7 stages of Dr. T in forever. I feel like as a HQ16, it's always been a little bit difficult, and since they've added things like critter launchers, it's gotten even harder. Would love to hear your experiences. Generally, before, my HQ18 could take down Dr. T unboosted, but if you go back and look at some of the replays, there was definitely some frustration at play at times. We're just gonna shock that, getting rid of other random buildings. There is very good reason for that. Just a reminder that all of the buildings do 70% of the damage towards the core. That is why that core is so low on health already. So if you're low level with low level artillery or low level barrage, as I close the door because we've got construction going nearby. Actually, that's a window. If you're trying to barrage out the core, do focus on all of the support buildings. Now, we don't need tanks on this one. Oftentimes, when I have things like tanks loaded, I will not drop them because all we're going to do is lose them on this one. Our troops should outrange every building except for that boom cannon. Yes, they will clump up a little bit, but we can get our shocks out to make sure we don't lose any, get our critters out, and at this point, we should be all good. So yes, Melon Bombardiers do outrange sniper towers, but just like Zookas and every other troop, they like to bunch up, which pushes them forwards. And these guys look how spread out they are. They like their personal space, which is why you can't get them underneath a single smoke. Zookas, for example, can clump up fairly tight. These guys, even though they are smaller than Zookas, they do like their personal space. I kind of wish they would make the troops proper size so that you could tell just by looking at them how much space they would require, but that's minor stuff. Now, I am going to start dropping my tanks because I don't want to have to deal with that shock launcher towards the back. Probably shouldn't be a giant concern because we do have lots and lots of critters out front, but figured, you know what, let's just get some tanks out there. We will clear some of these mines by ourselves. That shrapnel is not, you can't plan where that shrapnel's gonna hit, so definitely need to clear a little bit of mines on your own. I wish these melon dudes came available during not warships. I think during not warships, people would play them a lot more, but of course that's the crab, which we've got time conflicts across all of the things. There we go, stage 5, things starting to ramp up. Let's see how much health those rocket launchers have. Can we barrage a rocket launcher with our low-level artillery, low-level barrage? Yep, but it's going to cost all sorts of GBE, unfortunately. So we're going to get tanks over here, Everspark with them, and then all of these guys with a smoke over there to get them moving. You see how I said that tank? That's why I've been holding off dropping my tanks. We're almost certainly going to lose some tanks on this hit. But with all of those, and this is where Kavan would probably be better in this instance, because our tanks are just getting absolutely pummeled. Yes, they are a meat shield, but they're not a super duper great meat shield, because we don't have any troop health, and we have low level tanks. So definitely need to get some med kits out there. I am going to be spending some diamonds on this hit, almost certainly. Like, there is almost no possible way we're going to clear this with no losses. But on the plus side, as we move our troops backwards away, those critters are going to get out front, and now we can switch on to 3x mode. I have never even considered using 3x mode on a low level account, so first time I've done that. I don't play the main base much. It needs to be fixed, updated, tweaked, something. Dr. T, stage 6. Can we pull this off? Lots more health, but at least we can shock that and that together. I am going to change my hero because, as you saw there, those tanks, they were doing a somewhat adequate job of standing out front, getting shot in the face by those ranged defenses, but just not having any healing was a bit of a bummer. So rocket launcher does not range that corner. Rocket launcher does not range that corner, so we can just drop 2 boats to these guys. We'll clear all sorts of stuff, get ourselves some gunboat energy in the process, and then just chuck it all towards those ranged defenses. That should get us a decent start as we bring all of this stuff over into here. Bringing Kavan. Do we even want... You know what? We are going to bring tanks. We'll bring some tanks over. We'll throw a smoke on top of them to make sure they actually make it. And now more Kavan, more flares, more shocks, all of the... I wish we could have Kavan that spit out critters like Everspark did, but also like a... That's just asking for... That hero would be too overpowered, I do suppose. So, we are going to use our tanks to distract that shock launcher. That's going to be their #1 job. Sniper tower going to take them out, I kind of assume. So we desperately need ourselves some GBE here. And at this point, I think we have won. I think there is no possible way that we could lose this. Let's just throw some extra GBE onto that boom cannon, and then getting into 3x mode. Kavan doing great work to keep those tanks alive. Lost a couple, but let's be honest, there's no way I could have taken that down that easily at HQ 16, unboosted. Super simple. So if you're a low to mid level, do load these things. They are going to drastically improve your attacks. We just need to avoid those shock launchers going left, focusing all of our GBE, or most of our GBE, on those rocket launchers. Now here's the thing, because they're so close to shore, I think it's going to be more cost efficient to simply shock them. We're going to throw a shock there and a shock there, and that should get all of our troops moving towards the left. That should, in theory, get all of that stuff down. We are going to sacrifice a boom cannon just to... not a boom cannon, a tank, just to keep all of our GBE available for those shocks on those rocket launchers. Otherwise, we are going to be absolutely pummeled by all of that stuff. I think we are still going to be pummeled by all of that stuff. Did not get in on those rocket launchers fast enough. Just absolutely clinging on at the second. Need that shrapnel to wreck all of those rocket launchers. I did not hit with my artillery, and now I think we might just get it by the skin of our teeth. Though that left-hand side boom cannon is going to be the make or break moment, and now it's going to be all about 3x mode as we... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do 3x mode. I need to get rid of that boom cannon. We are going to possibly scrape this one out of the ashes as that boom mine gets wrecked by the shrapnel. Can't stress that enough. These troops were... Uh-oh, are we down to 1? No, we're down to 2 still. I knew we had 2. Didn't know if we... Where's the second one? Right about there. So that boom cannon is going to be a major problem as our shrapnel is hopefully bouncing onto it. It's going to be super tight. Need to get our smoke out. Down to 1. Let's see if 3 times mode we somehow pull this out. We are not going to pull it out. Losing in a big, big way. I am just going to get rid of tanks. I feel better without tanks, if that makes any sense. I will be passing on that feedback to the dev team, though. I think that they need to move those prototypes up to slot 1. That will put a little bit more focus on them. If you disagree, if you think that'll piss off or screw up your muscle memory, then do let me know. I would love to hear those details as well. Let's just see how our GBE numbers look. That's going to be the important detail here. We're just going to keep throwing artillery. So much GBE costs at a low level. That is why I always recommend get your artillery and barrage upgraded first. Oh, just an absolute sliver. Barrage Captain doing us dirty. Let's get all of this stuff over here. A shock over there. And now we just need to keep moving the heck away from those shock launchers. We saw last attack how those shock launchers wrecked us. Now we're going to get wrecked by all of the critter launchers. There is a lot going on here, and we are not doing a great job of clearing all the things. Definitely slightly better than last time, but barely, absolutely barely. Kavan is dead. Long live Kavan. As we get rid of that stuff, we should have enough GBE for a shock here in the next little bit. That will be a very important shock as I move over into here. And now the shock is going to be on that boom cannon, trying to get 2 boom cannons shocked, and then hoping that we get rid of that other middle, central, right-hand side boom cannon, however you want to call it. I am almost certain we are going to lose yet again. So definitely, in previous videos, I definitely would have thrown a redone my attack because that barrage that came out was just less than ideal. But in this instance, you know what? Let's just flare directly onto there, and then we will flare the heck out of there, hoping to keep at least one of our troops alive, and just didn't get it down, unfortunately. So 3 times mode, we are going to die, losing all of our troops. Not ideal. You know what? We're just going to spend until we have no diamonds left. Again, you guys helping me get 4K, helping me get diamonds. Do I throw heavies out front? I don't think we do. So, just need a little bit better support from our barrage captain. So we are going to throw a couple more artillery right onto there. And now it's all up to our barrage captain. Are you going to do us dirty yet again? That is what I was talking. See, I knew we could get slightly better. Just had to make it happen as we get that shock out, and I missed the shock. You know what? Let's get out of there before we lose all our troops. As you see me clicking the retreat button, which actually threw a bunch of shocks. Whew. Okay, so we got goodness out of we're down to 0. Look at that. Absolutely perfect on the diamonds, or whatever the opposite of perfect is. Let's go. 3, I think it was 4 artillery we did, and then a barrage, maybe even 5. Let's go. Let's go. Get that stuff down. That would be most helpful, Mr. Barrage Captain. Decent. Now we just need that artillery to get rid of all of the stuff. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. And we're actually going to use that second smoke because it would be silly not to. And as they pop out of that smoke, we are going to try to get that shock out. That should do a decent job of getting all of that stuff out. And now we're just going to move over into that left-hand side. As we get another shock out, Kavan's going to bring us some dudes. And that looks far better. Now we just need to get those riflemen out front, get that shock over there, and then move over to this left-hand side. That is a drastically better hit. Shouldn't have any problem taking it down this time. Just shows that sometimes you gotta try a couple times. And for Dr. T Stage 7, it is very much worth trying again and again and again, because that is going to get you 2 guaranteed powder for stage 6 and 7. Well, sorry, 1 for each of the stages. Stage 6 and stage 7, so helpful. Just need those dudes to get rid of that boom cannon right now. I counted all of the chickens a little teeny tiny bit too early. Let's flare back over into here as we throw a smoke on top to get them as far as we possibly can. Oh, of course you move forward. Personal space issues for the old man. Let's just get chucking. That front one taking all of the damage from the shock launchers, and now we just have to watch the timer. There's nowhere else we can go, I don't think. Stage 7 going down in the most ugly possible fashion, but getting that crystal right there, so helpful for mid to low level players. Hopefully this opened your eyes a little bit if you have not used those Melon Bombardiers. Their melons are so good. You'll notice that we are unboosted at HQ level 16, taking down all 7 stages of Dr. T. That is the first time I've done that in a heck of a long time. Also, NPCs, if you're looking for something to attack, do clear all of the NPCs. That is where you want to spend your time. Clear those NPCs, farm your map up, get your map in a state where you are just absolutely flush with goodness as we throw all of our GBE onto that rocket launcher. And now we're just gonna see if we can't take this thing down with only 2 melons. Yes, you should have more melons. Definitely should have waited, but what's the fun in that? Need those riflemen to get out front so that we can somehow, some way take out all of those boom cannons one by one. Meloneers trying their darndest to get in and amongst the things, with only 2 of them taking out NPCs with 0 losses. I don't think there's any other troop you could do that with. Maybe, especially at a mid to low level. Yes, Bombardiers maybe could, but you would have wasted at least a bunch of GBE just dropping your troops. So these guys do more damage, they do clear mines, and they cost 0 GBE to drop. So do give them a shot if you haven't already. I'm probably preaching to the choir. You guys probably already know this, but maybe you didn't notice that they clear mines, and maybe you were a little bit concerned that because they clear mines, they're going to do friendly fire. Regardless, hopefully this video helped, and if it did, throw code ZMOT in that shop right about there. Consider subscribing, liking, sharing, but more important, throw me a comment down below. I shall talk to you soon. Back to warships tomorrow. I'm ZMOT. Thanks for coming in.